How you doing, guys? I'm Matt Waldin here with Mishimoto and a 2003 Subaru WRX. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to install the Mishimoto Direct Fit Oil Cooler Kit. This is better than anything else on the market. It bolts directly on the front end of your car, and it's going to help keep those oil temps down on and off the track. First, we're going to talk about why you need an oil cooler kit on your WRX. This is your car without an oil cooler kit. And this is your car with the oil cooler kit.
What's up?
Tools required for the installation of the Mishimoto WRX Direct Fit Oil Cooler Kit are Phillips head screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, 10mm socket, 12mm socket, extension and ratchet, crescent wrench up to 1 inch, 27mm socket, extension and ratchet, 5mm Allen key, 10mm wrench, straight and right angle panel tools, extra oil, and Teflon tape. Installation is about 2 hours and a 3 out of 5 on the scale of difficulty. First step is to jack up the car. Before doing any work on your car, make sure it's completely cooled off and you're ready to go. After you've got the car jacked up, it's time to remove the lower splash shield from the car. There's an array of pop clips, Phillips head screws, and maybe a couple 10mm and 12mm bolts here and there. After you've removed the splash shield, there's 3 pop clips that attach the lower bumper to the actual crash support and metal structure behind it. Remove these at this time. After you've got those removed, reach up way inside of the wheel well and grab the 2 right in the corner up here. Moving right along, we're going to go ahead and depress the little pop tabs in here in the front grille area. You should hear a click when they come out. Lightly pull on it. There's 4 across the top, and there's 2 hidden ones down in there that you'll be finding out right after you pop the 4 out. We're going to remove these clips on either sides of the headlights and remove the headlight finisher panels. 2 up top, 1 snuck down in here. And this piece will come right off. Same thing on the other side. All right, before the front bumper cover can come off, we have to remove the headlights. There's 3 screws, 1 up on the corner of the fender and 2 in the front now that we can get to. And that's 3 10mm head bolts. And before the headlights will come all the way out, unclip the electrical connectors by pushing down the lock tab and pulling on the connector. Same on the other side. Next, we're almost ready to remove the front bumper cover, and there's an array of pop clips along the front end here. 1 being in the corner of the fender, the rest being across the front and back over the other corner on the opposite side fender. If you're not sick and tired of these pop clips yet, you will be. After all the clips are off, be careful when you're removing it. If your WRX is equipped with fog lights, you will need to disconnect them here. Simply pull on the front bumper cover to remove it. After the front end's off the car, next we can begin assembly of the oil cooler kit itself. First, we're going to start with the bottom plate. This is an air diversion plate which funnels air directly into the oil cooler. These are the screws that attach the bottom plate to the oil cooler core itself. Both are 10mm head on the nut side and the bolt side. Next, we're going to attach the oil cooler lines. We have one line with this oil cooler kit with a straight fitting and a 90-degree fitting. The other one has two 90-degree fittings. The straight fitting is going to go on the left side if the air diversion plate is pointing up. The right side will be a 90-degree fitting, and we'll show you exactly how that's done in a second. Straight fitting is going to go on the left side, 90-degree on the right side, pointing towards the straight fitting. All right, with the air diversion plate facing the front of the car, the oil cooler will be installed exactly like this. Straight fitting on the left side, 90-degree fitting on the right side. And when we go to feed the straight fitting line through, it's going to go in between the AC condenser and the radiator. All right, we're almost in, and the 90-degree line is going to drape right over top behind the front bumper crash bar and sit down in here like this. All right, before we attach the top bracket to this, we're going to go ahead and snug up the lines now once everything's in place. If you snug them up beforehand, it makes it really hard to route these guys. Last step before we install the top bracket is to install the split rubber hose on the bottom so that we don't rub a hole in anything, including the core, the front bumper support, or your mom's new China set. Once the rubber gasket's on, set this guy down in there like that, and we can fish this guy right up in there. Now the two holes that are in the top of this bracket line up with the two existing holes that are in the chassis of your WRX. Get all the hardware started. Make sure you leave everything nice and loose until all the nuts and bolts are in their place. Once all your hardware is in, we can go ahead and snug everything up. All right, moving down underneath of the vehicle here, you can see the two lines that we've routed above the subframe of the vehicle, in between the subframe and the actual exhaust. Now, keep in mind that when we're routing these lines, we want to keep it far away from this. This exhaust has already been modified, and we have taken the heat shield off so that you can see what we're doing underneath of here. Yours is going to have a heat shield over top of this, which you may need to modify and or trim out a little bit to get these oil lines routed in the correct orientation. First thing to do after you're underneath the car, loosen up the oil filter and remove that. Get ready and get a drain pan ready because a little bit of oil is going to come out when you do so. Now, if you've been following along word for word, tool for tool, part for part, these are the things that you should have left. The oil sandwich plate from Mishimoto comes with two tapped holes in case you're running any kind of sensors for temperature and or pressure. If you're not running any sensors though, we would recommend that you Teflon tape the plugs that come with the kit and install them. Make sure you're liberal with the Teflon here. Once those are installed, we're going to install the banjo fittings. The banjo fittings are going to face away from the rubber oil seal. And just make sure that you have the gaskets on either sides of these. The crafty hands at Mishimoto have pre-assembled these from the factory, but if yours gets disrupted in shipping, this is how they go together: bolt, seal, banjo, and then another seal. The Mishimoto oil sandwich plate goes rubber O-ring towards the engine. You want to apply a thin coat of oil on that rubber O-ring. The oil filter adapter screws into the original oil filter threads. Using a 27mm socket, go ahead and tighten up the adapter plate. And also the banjo fittings. All right, now that everything's tightened up, we can go ahead and install the lines. They can be installed in any order, doesn't matter which one it goes to. Just do not use any Teflon tape on these fittings. This is considered a public service announcement. No Teflon tape on AN fittings. All right, we're going to reinstall the oil filter and make sure you replace any heat shields that have been removed off of the exhaust pipe at this time. Make sure these oil lines here do not come in contact with the exhaust header. If that happens, you'll have a very big problem. If that is a possibility, we recommend that you tie wrap them back to the subframe of the car. Next, after everything's wrapped up underneath, with the exception of the splash guards, reinstall the front bumper, remembering to plug in the fog lights. Reinstall all the pop clips along the front end of the vehicle. Next, reinstall the headlights. Next, reinstall the headlight finisher brackets. And last but certainly not least, the front grille. A couple more pop clips up here, and the front end's almost back together. Keeping your car in good health starts with making sure the oil cooler kit fittings are tight on every single oil change. This is very important. It must be checked for any leaks almost every time that you do an oil change on the car. After the car's been started and you've verified that there aren't any leaks, double check the oil level, because adding some may be required since the oil cooler will use up to a quart of additional oil. That concludes the Mishimoto Direct Fit Oil Cooler install for the 2003 WRX. Enjoy your Mishimoto products.